Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining in this morning. It is Friday, August 18th. So to begin the morning, I actually didn't have much to talk about. The only real stocks I was going to really watch were DCTH and DRYS, just because it's DCTH and DRYS. That was simply it. But as the morning progressed a little bit and more people started trading and maybe some news popped up, I ended up growing my list a little bit further. So I do kind of want to go in. What's up, Juan? I'm glad you're in here. I do want to go over all the stocks I have, and I'm going to try to do that fairly quickly so that way if we have any other stocks that you guys want to go over, I'll have a chance to actually kind of go over them for you rather than just talk about what I'm looking at all the time. What's going on, Dylan? Glad to see you're in here. All right, so first on the list was DCTH. Let's just run through it real quick. It has a float of 450 million. It has a short float of 9%. Relative volume is 2.15. So 2.15 isn't really high, but it's all right. Its average volume on DCTH is 100 million, and the current volume is 200 million. So there's much more. There's a lot more volume coming in than its average volume. So average volume DCTH is 100 million, current volume is 200 million. Now if I take a look at DCTH's chart right now, so we all know it kind of made some big moves yesterday. It actually went up about 21%. If you're not familiar with DCTH by now, I don't know where you've been at. It's the biggest known stock in the world right now besides DRYS. So DCTH made a big move yesterday, up about 21%. This morning pre-market, it ended up basically just gapping all the way up to 24 cents. So there's potential for it to keep running today. I'm not saying that there isn't potential. It definitely has the potential to keep running today. But think about it this way. You have all these people that trade DCTH, and there's tons of people trading it. So imagine if you were in DCTH yesterday, or even maybe a few days prior to yesterday, and you got in somewhere, maybe 10 cents, 11 cents or something. And you look at it today and it gapped up to 24 cents, now sitting at 21 cents. There's going to be a big group of people that are probably going to sell it as soon as the opening bell comes because they're going to lock in profits. I know I would. If I were in the stock a couple days ago, I would be up maybe 100% right now, or who knows, and I would probably end up taking my profit when the opening bell comes and then maybe looking for a bounce play after all those traders are finally kind of just washed out and took their profits. Maybe then look for a bounce play, okay? So it's possible we might get a morning spike to retest the pre-market high. It's really hard to tell right now because this stock isn't holding that pre-market high. It ended up selling down, and it's found its support right around the 100 moving average, okay? So with that being said, I would look to see maybe for a bounce play on DCTH somewhere around the 20 cent mark. And then if it breaks that, we might find one around maybe 18.5. I would say 18.5. That was about the aftermarket high, 18.888. So personally, DCTH, I don't know if we're going to continue that run today. It's hard to tell. It's not a stock that's holding its highs right now. We've seen some crazy moves for it before, but personally, I think DCTH in general will probably have some type of sell-off of people taking their profits. Now, Philip Franklin, I just happened to come across your message there. HMY is definitely on watch list today. I do have that one on here. Actually, I didn't even write it down. I didn't get a chance to, but HMY is on my watch list today, as well as HMNY. Okay, so that covers DCTH. I'm going to quickly run through DRYS, and the only reason I was going to is because at the end of the day, DRYS sold off way below the volume weighted average price, but through aftermarket and pre-market trading, it ended up kind of coming back up. So it's starting to pick up more momentum, and it's possible that we can see DRYS come back to play today. And in the sense, what we're really looking to see is if DRYS can fill the gap from where it's sitting at right now at about $3.30 up to the previous high of day. So really we want to see DRYS push back up to 345 and then break through that 345 price, which was the previous day's high price. and then we could see some continuation. So the only reason I even chose to look at DRYS was simply because of the upward momentum that it was showing going through aftermarket and pre-market trading yesterday and today. Just some depth on it. Couldn't really find anything when it comes to the share float and float on it, but right now its relative volume is 1.69, so that's very, very average. Average volume is 7 million, current volume is 13 million, so that really is just telling us that more people are trading the stock than typically, since there's 13 million shares being traded or volume. All right, so that was a quick rundown on DRYS. DRYS is not my favorite to look at. DCTH is not my favorite to look at. I know that a lot of people are trading them probably and are thinking of trading them, and that's another reason why I wanted to have them up here for you. Next on the list was Mnga. All right, so Mnga this morning, it gapped up. And I do believe there's news out on this one, if I recall. Yes, I think it was due to their Q2 or their earnings. Is it? So yeah, it was based on some of their earnings. The price ended up gapping up this morning to a high of 70 cents. All right. Now, if you're looking at a 1 year, 1 day chart, you will know that 70 cents is right exactly where what is that? That would be the 20-day moving averages. So the 20-day exponential moving average sits right at 70 cents, and the price gapped up this morning to 70 cents. So it makes sense. The price gapped up, and it hit its first sign of resistance, and then it came back down a little bit. Okay? So with that being said, this is one that gapped up, and we wanted to see it kind of trend sideways and hold its highs. Right now it's kind of cracking. It just broke down through the 9 and the 20. It's finding support right on the 50, and we're looking at Mnga again. So again, this is one where we want to see it gap up and hold the highs, and then we could get a gap and go. And a gap and go is when we get the price to jump up pre-market. We usually trade sideways without selling off too much, and then we set ourselves a price point where we want to break above the pre-market high and go long for a quick morning spike, gap up and go. That's the idea of the gap and go, is where you gap up and then it kind of holds its level, and then we get in right above the pre-market high as soon as the bell opens, and then it just goes, and then we take our quick profit really quick. So for this, I would personally look to get in maybe above even 65 cents. And the reason being is because it's holding a nice resistance right about 65 cents pre-market. And mentally, 65 cents could be a resistance point for people, but really I would look to get in over 70 cents. That's where I would want to get in, but the price is so extended from 70 cents, you could really get yourself a nice percent gain of about 15%. From 60 cents to 70 cents, you're about a 15% gain. So obviously just watch to see how this thing plays out. With the news that it had out that it did very well with its Q2 sales, our fuel sales jumped 50%. With the news on it, it does have the potential. So Mnga has a float of 6 million, a short float of 5%. So the short float isn't very, very high. Its relative volume is basically nothing. It's only 1, so it's really not good. Its average volume is 300K, and the current volume is 300K. So with all that being said, the only way that this thing is going to move in the direction we want it to is if enough traders find that the news that was released all through this morning is good enough, and the fact that the stock gapped up. Basically, all the indicators have to be met. The news is good enough for people to trade it, and the news is good enough for people to trade it, and the fact that it gapped up brought enough attention into it. I will take a look at Spex, definitely, just because I know a lot of people are trading that one as well. But I think I looked at it last night, and I don't think it's good, but I'll definitely take a look at it here soon. All right, now on to the next one. Oh, we're killing it. We got plenty of time here. All right, on to the next one is Spwh. I think this is another one that gapped up this morning. All right, so Spwh, a float of 36 million, short float is high of 25%. It has an average volume of 800,000. Right now it's trading at 1.4 million. So it is trading above its average volume. That's a plus. Now, if you guys are following along and you look at Spwh, it's interesting because this is the kind of stuff that I always talk about, where we see a stock gap up and then it holds that high price point level, okay? So if you're looking at, you'll notice the stock gapped up after hours, and then it kind of just consolidated sideways, and it even jumped up a little bit more to $4.13 pre-market, okay? So long story short, if we have enough traders coming in and enough volume coming into the stock and enough people come to trade it and come to play today, then we can easily see this thing pop above $4.13, and then we could get a run. Now, if we look at a 1-year chart, let's find our resistance. That's 396. We're at 413. So the only downside to where the price is at right now, no, not really, because it's at about $4. So if it breaks 413, really the next sign of resistance is going to be right at about $4.20, to be honest, because that is where the 20-day moving average is. If we can get a clean break through 420, then our next resistance would be 464. So those would be all my targets. First, I want to see a break pre-market of 413. Your first target is really 420, 425, which isn't a big room for profit. So it would be a better bet to see if this thing picks up momentum, breaks 420, and then the move up to 460 would be ideal. I personally don't know if it's going to do it. I don't know if there's enough volume there. I think there's more people watching DCth and SPX, SPEX, so I think the volume isn't particularly on the stock today, but it did gap up, so it is worth taking a look at. Now, next one is HMY. Okay, the reason I'm looking at HMY is because simply it had news. It looks like it has an upgrades, gold mining company, hold to sell. So it had some news this morning. The stock ended up gapping up. Now, really, the volume isn't there for the stock right now. Not where I would typically want to see it. Or no, wait, it does have the volume. Sorry, I was mistaken. So it does have some volume. Is it enough? I don't know. But the stock is a perfect example of a potential gap and go. Kind of. You have it gap up, and now it's just consolidating sideways. So if we can get a break above 193, that would be good. A perfect break above 193 for a gap and go. And this is simply what I do every single day for pre-market. And I same thing that a lot of the members within all of our groups do. We just simply look for stocks that are gapping up pre-market, have positive news, good volume. Then we just look to get in above the pre-market high. So we, sometimes we'll just set limit buys a few cents above the pre-market high, and then if the stock wants to do it, it'll break above the pre-market high. It'll hit our trigger point. Now we're in the position, and then we just ride the wave up until we see a pullback of forming. Maybe our level 2 starts to show signs of selling, and that's simply all we do. It's very simple. It's easy to do, and eventually I'll be able to show my screen to you guys so that way you can look at it. Now, I don't have any background information on HMY because I simply forgot to actually put it down, but on to the next one is HMNY. Okay, so if you're looking at HMNY, not so good anymore. So it was setting up for a nice chart pattern on a 5-minute chart. Now it's starting to kind of crack a little bit, and if you're looking at it, you'll notice that it went up, gapped up, then it came down, consolidated sideways a little bit, still kind of upward. And then it ended up cracking. Now we're sitting about the 50 moving average. It does have news this morning of filing an 8K. Now it's gapping down. So this one for me doesn't really meet my criteria anymore. It's one where it gapped down, or gapped up, and then it went back down, and now it's going down further. So it's no longer holding that high price point. So it's a little bit scary for me. It's not my go-to. So personally, though, I would keep, for me, I would like to keep MNGA, SPW, H, and HMY on watch unless something has changed thus far pre-market. Okay, so now if we look pre-market, the top ones that have gapped up pre-market are still the ones that I've picked this morning. So MNGA is first on the gap list. SPWH, HMY are all the top picks right now on my pre-market scan. Now that I look at it, we do have CTIC, TOPS on there as well. I could take a quick look there. CTIC. CTIC doesn't really have the volume there, and it's kind of trending down now, so I wouldn't really be concerned with that. TOPS. So TOPS was another one, but the volume hasn't really been there for the past however long to sustain that big move up. So you see that it gapped up all the way to 155, big move, but it quickly just went straight back down. So you could keep this one on watch, but I don't, me personally doesn't meet my criteria, right? So these are just things that I have over the time just kind of come to realize that usually don't work when you see something like this. We got about 15 minutes left. If you guys want me to take a look at any stocks for any of those of you guys are in here, just put them down in the comments below. Obviously, I won't be able to get to all of them, but hopefully I can find a few that it seems like a lot of people are looking at, and I'll go from there. So Cbay, I did see that one, Cytr, CRUS. So I will definitely take a look at, we've already done DCth, so we're definitely going to take a look at Spex, Cytr, and Cbay right now. And then we'll go from there to see if we can find any more. All right, so looking at Cbay is the first one we're taking a look at here. In the grand scheme of things, looking at a 1-year chart, obviously we've seen it crush it. Now it's on a downtrend. Although it did gap up this morning, the overall trend is still downwards. Let me pull up like a 20-day chart real quick. Give me a better look at the stock. So 20-day, so we're still downtrending for 20 days has been a complete downtrend for the most part. We've had some ups and we've had some downs, obviously, but the overall trend of Cbay is a downtrend. Now it is gapped up this morning, but it's gapped up on about a little over 30,000 shares of volume, something around there, about 30,000 shares of volume. Is there any news? Cbay therapy started by with 50% structure. Ooh. So there is some news out this morning. Now, again, this is one where we've seen a gap up, but it did it on pretty light volume. So I'm not getting a clear chart pattern. In this particular, with the way that it's trending, this wouldn't be one that I would particularly play. The price is at $6.60. Which makes sense. It makes sense. So for those of you that are playing Cbay, if you're wondering for the gap up and where it stopped, it makes perfect sense. And that's why I always look at a 1-year chart. The price of Cbay is $6, or it gapped up this morning pre-market to $6.60. If you look at a 1-year chart, you'll come to find that the 20 exponential moving average sits at right at about $6.65 or $6.60. And the price is below that moving average. So of course, if it comes up, it's going to tap in that resistance. So Cbay makes sense because it's hitting its resistance point. Is it a buy for me? Not particularly me, but hey, you could watch it and see how it goes. But right now we are downtrending, so it's not one of my go-to picks. Next, we want to look at Spex. So for those of you trading in Spex, okay, we all know Spex crushed it, these past couple days, but is it going to be good today? And the answer for me personally, nope, I would not trade Spex. And the reason I wouldn't trade Spex is because I've seen this pattern hundreds of times. And if you go on Google and you type in, I don't even know what you would type in at this point. You could look in, all right, this is what you would type in. You could go to Google right now and you could type in descending triangle patterns, and I guarantee, so if you're looking at Spex right now, go on a 1-year chart and look at the chart. You'll notice we had this huge spike. It had a huge spike and then it just came down, 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 down until these past couple days, and we had this little baby spike. That is very, very common, and it happens all the time in descending triangle patterns like this. We see a stock spike really fast, like SPEXY, all the way to almost $5. Then it just gets crushed, comes back down, 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 and then we have this little follow-through spike. It happens all the time, and what that is, it's a descending triangle pattern. And the reason I wouldn't play SPEX today is because the spike has already happened. So now it's just the aftermath of people holding on and keeping that price up. So right now, these are the only reason the price is where it's at is because people are still holding and hoping for it to continue. But the spike has already happened, and now you're on the backside of the slope. It's like going up a mountain. You're on the gondola going up, and you finally reach the top, and now you're starting to head down the backside. So the price still is high, but you're about to head down the slope. So today, can assure you we're probably going to be looking at some type of sell-off with SPEX. If I'm wrong, which I very well could be, but if I'm wrong, the only way I'd want to play SPEX the way that I like to play is I would play it for a break above 197, which tells me that we're continuing up. If we can break through the previous high, that means we have now broken through the ceiling and we're continuing upward, okay? CYTR was the next one, okay? So CYTR, whoa. All right, so CYTR did have a pretty cool spike yesterday. It ended up ripping pretty good, actually. So CYTR ended up going, had about a 10, maybe a 13% move from like the very bottom of the day. As soon as the bell opened, very bottom of the day, it had about a 10, 12% spike. So today, if I'm looking at this correctly, there's not much pre-market action going on with CYTR, but I have seen stocks kill it that didn't have much pre-market action. That's something else I want to note, that one of the big movers was it, which one was it yesterday? Was it SPX? I can't remember. But a lot of times, a lot of these big movers you see in the morning don't have a ton of pre-market action. They really actually fly under the radar, and they only gap up maybe 2-3%, and they really fly under the radar. So just keep that in mind. Don't always look for the biggest gappers. Pay attention to the small ones as well, because they can be good. But when we're looking at CYTR, now, if you're looking at a longer time frame, this stock is right. If it is going to turn around, if CYTR is going to stop downtrending, right now is the time for that to happen. Excuse me. Right now is the time for CYTR to actually turn around. If it's going to happen, it should be right in these next couple days. So if you look at a 1-year chart, you'll notice that we recently hit $1 and we failed to do the breakout of $1, which I called out. I knew it was going to happen. And I told people, I said, hey, start closing positions on it. It's time to get out. It's not breaking $1. And people held and held and held, thought it was going to happen, didn't happen. But if you're looking at a 1-year chart, you'll notice that it's spiked up to $1 3 times now. And it's failed to go through that $1 mark 3 times. On the contrary, you'll notice that its support, upward support, it's right at its upward support, and it just had a green hammer candle on its 1-year chart, signifying that we're looking to go to a reversal now to start heading back upwards. So for those of you looking at CYTR, right now it technically is at its upward support trend, shall I say. So it's right now it's about at its upward support, so you could start seeing a reversal coming soon, or you could start seeing it trend upwards. But that day we had yesterday wasn't enough to show me it. If we were going to start fully reversing, we're going to see this stock start to hold its highs. We're not going to see it spike and then sell off. We're going to see it start going up, holding its highs, and then continuing up, obviously. If a stock just spikes and then dumps, it's not really holding its highs, and it's not showing us it's wanting to change directions, okay? So CYTR, I would keep it on watch. Personally, I'm going to start keeping on watch. So for those of you that shouted James, I don't know if it was you, but for those of you that shouted out CYTR, thank you, because this one was never even on my watch list for the past couple weeks, but I'm glad that you shouted it out because I took a closer look at it, and now I know that based on the trend lines that I've drawn previously, we are coming to that support area, and it looks like we might start to bounce. So I might keep this on watch and might ride the momentum for maybe 50, 60 cents up to maybe, hopefully, $1. If this thing can go up to $1 again, that would be sweet. Is it going to happen soon? Maybe not. The reversal could take a little bit longer to unfold, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's see what we got here. There's DCIX. Someone said DCIX has some news out. HUSA. MNGA. So MNGA went over. SPWH. So there's a lot of them here. A lot of people are CR has chances to go up. So Parth. Okay, so I didn't even know that CYTR has a delist Monday. That sucks. So don't get stuck in there. Don't get stuck in CYTR. I didn't read that on the news there, but technically it was at support. Now, What's the other one we have on here? The screener I'm using is in TOS from here. Mohammed, yes, the screener I'm using is in TOS. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel that if you go through, I believe it's under instructional videos, but I can't remember, it's been so long. But I do have a video that if you just go through my videos, it's going to be relatively one of the first ones I've uploaded to my channel, but it is called the pre-market scanner made simple with Thinkorswim. You can just set it the way I have it, and then you can change it around to whatever works best for you. But I'm telling you, it's the same type of stocks that most people trade. It picks up all the good stocks. And usually every single day I'll find some type of good stock on that. If I don't and something doesn't look appealing, then I'll just go ahead and I'll stick with my momentum scanner, which I also have a video on. So you can go ahead and use that as well. And you'll start picking up all the same stocks that I am and having the same opportunities as me and as everybody else trading. All right. So like always, we have about 5 minutes till the opening bell. I want to stop talking. I've been talking like crazy. I want you guys to get ready to trade as well as myself. That way we're not caught off guard. So again, get your orders ready, get them in place. You know, don't get caught off guard. Maybe watch 1 or 2 stocks. If you're comfortable watching more than that, go ahead. But 1 or 2 stocks is the best route to go. 1, 2, maybe 3, so that you can actually know what the hell you're doing rather than trying to look at 7 or 8 stocks. Because if you're looking for 7 or 8 stocks and you're always looking for the right entry, you're going to miss the right entry. You really have to be looking at the stocks, okay? So once again, all the descriptions to every single chat room, Facebook, all that stuff, cool social media stuff will be in the description below. If you want to join me on Facebook and anywhere else, the description will be in the link below. If you trade with Robinhood, or if you haven't started trading with Robinhood, I have a link in the description below of this video to sign up for Robinhood. By doing so, I get a free share of stock, you get a free share of stock. They may only be worth $3. You could like get lucky and get Facebook or something like that, which would be awesome. Or maybe it was like Apple, I don't know, but one of the two. If you use that link, you'll get me a share, you'll get yourself a share. That would be cool. So once again, I will be here, not tomorrow, not Sunday, but Monday morning, Monday through Friday, as long as some dramatic event in my life doesn't happen and some tragic accident doesn't happen, I will be here. So stay tuned, guys. I love you. We'll see you soon. Bye.